City of Stevens Point Board of Park Commissioners meeting, recorded May 4th, 2022.
All right, excuse me. The May 4th, 2022 Board of Park Commissioners meeting will come to order, please. And would you read the roll?
So I'll
Director?
start actually with the roll to welcome a new face. So we do have Alder Ginger Keemer joining us tonight. So on behalf of the Park Commission, a warm welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome, Ginger.
We do have some other reappointments, but I believe they're all friendly faces that everyone remembers. So. Starting here, we'll go with Freckman.
Here.
Gladowski.
Here.
Paul.
Here.
Alder Keemer.
Here.
Kirsch. Here. McDonald.
Here.
O'Connor.
Here.
Shabilsky.
Here.
Alder Short.
Here.
Sorensen.
Here.
And Alder Zarazua.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Great, thank you. Item number 2, approval of April 6, 2022 meeting minutes.
I'll move.
Okay, John moves.
I'll
Do we have a
second.
Second. Any discussion or additions or corrections? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. Thank you. Item number 3, election of chairperson and vice chairperson. The floor is open for nominations.
I'd like to nominate Wayne Sorensen for the chairman and Liz McDonald for vice chair. You would switch your positions. That's weren't you? Right? I'd like to nominate that.
Thank you, Sue. Any other
I'd
nominations?
second that.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Do we have any other nominations? Do I have to ask 3 times? That's a rule somewhere. Are there any other nominations?
Can we do chair and vice at the same time, or do they need to be separate?
Yee.
Just as far as voting.
Probably do separate.
We can take them
Yeah.
separate. Let the
All
chair
right.
vote first.
Sure. All those in favor of Wayne Sorensen as
You
chair?
might have to still take nominations.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you, Makira. That's good. All right, are there any nominations for chair besides Wayne? Any nominations for chair besides Wayne? Any, okay,
I move that we approve the nomination by acclamation.
all right. It's been moved. Do we have a second on that?
Second.
All right. A motion that has been seconded that we, by acclamation, appoint or welcome Wayne Sorensen as a chairperson. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. Thanks for pointing that out, Makira. I'm looking at her on the screen up there, by the way, in case you're wondering. I don't know where she is. Okay, nominations for vice chair. Are there any other nominations for vice chair besides myself?
Bias.
Any other nominations for vice chair? Okay, all those in favor of, wait, we have to have a motion. It's a little embarrassing.
I'll move.
Okay, moved by Mike Gladowski.
Either.
Second by Wayne Sorensen. Okay. All those in favor of having me serve as vice chair, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, thank you, Wayne. Be good switching chairs with you.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you.
Item number 4, request from Point Fast Pitch to serve alcoholic beverages during a youth softball tournament within Gerke Park.
I can begin with this item. So Archie Sawyer, the president for the Point Fast Pitch, contacted me asking about kind of process, just trying to do some background research of what can go on in Gerke Park. Just giving some history here, kind of talking about what's going on before. As everyone's aware, there is an ordinance in the city of Stevens Point for Gerke Park that does prohibit alcohol to be in possession or on the grounds. With that said, previously to this action or this request tonight, there has been basically precedent set for single-day events. So the most recent would be Spud Bowl, is one that's come up in the past, where there's been basically temporary alcohol permits issued for standalone events, but not reoccurring. So as we reviewed it together, staff reviewed this, talking with the police department as well as the city clerk's office. There is a couple approvals required because there's an ordinance impacting it. The ask tonight is to see if the Park Commission would allow it for their event, which is July 15th, 16th, and 17th. If the Park Commission would entertain that, then that would move on to a next level of approvals and ultimately through committee onto council for consideration. So the ask tonight is just Park Commission if it's allowable in Gerke Park. Archie and I think a couple other members are here to answer specific questions. There is a map inside the packet that shows kind of the location that they would propose to do that. And that's the specifics that city staff has at this point. But again, they're present to ask any or answer any particular questions.
Archie, do you want to perhaps go to the podium, please? And do we have any questions from?
Yeah, I
yes,
did.
Mike.
I know, is Xenoff Park available to you guys, or?
We actually use that park as well for that tournament.
Okay, so it's a big tournament, in other
It's,
words.
we
Okay.
have average about 53 teams that come to the city. We use every park here for those 3 days. So, yeah, it's a big event.
I assume it's a good fundraiser then, too.
It is, and to be honest, I mean, that's kind of what we're looking for, is just to optimize our weekend. That's our biggest fundraiser of the year. You know, obviously, we put a lot of money back into this park. Between the concessions, we redid the south concession this year. We spent $14,000 on the fields this year. That came out of our budget this year. So obviously, that's what we're kind of trying to do and asking for your consideration to optimize that weekend the best we can for development and everything in our program. So thank you for even putting it on the agenda.
So are you guys going to be selling at Xenoff then? Or do you
So
have a-
Xenoff is, their concessions is basically run by the Adult Softball League. So we can't do anything there. That all the funds that we raise or all the beer and soda and everything that is purchased that weekend goes to them. We get nothing from that. We are allowed, we have an agreement to do a side concessions with grilling and things like that. But other than that, no.
Yes.
Well, you know, I think it's something that we should really consider supporting. You know, any of these groups, whether it's softball or youth baseball or hockey or any, you know, they're really partners with the rec department here. And yeah, you guys are really doing a lot of things that used to be done by the rec department. In fact, you've expanded opportunities like 100-fold probably for people in the area. Maybe not 100-fold, but you know, back in my day, the rec department used to actually run like a little league, you know, which people get cut from the Little League, and then the rec department ran it, and they ran a lot of other programs, and now we have these people, and they've added girls that can play now, and it's really nice, and I think it's something we should support.
David Shore, Alder Shore.
Thank you, and as the council representative for Gerke Park, I'll move approval. Or move recommendation. Move that we recommend it.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, Matt is seconded. Do we have any further discussion?
Can I actually ask just a couple more questions? Have you guys talked at all about, because I know there's the responsible server training.
Yep.
Have you guys talked about putting any limits on beer sales as far as beyond that? Like, you know, maybe limiting, you know, somebody can't come up and order.
Oh, no, we
beers
haven't,
and-
no.
Okay. My other question is just doing a little reading on this, and I'm part of SPIVA, so I've got.
Sure.
We talked about this too.
Yep.
Has there been any discussion about, worry about people becoming a little extra belligerent with officials or other parents, that kind of stuff?
It's definitely come up,
Yeah.
but, you know, I've been in this program I have my second daughter's coming through here. We've done travel for probably 8-10 years already. So we've seen what other organizations are doing. Honestly, I've never seen that in the 10 years I've been part of travel. Our neighbors to the south, Plover, they sell a lot of beer on their tournament weekends, and I've never seen anything get out of hand. I can't say that it won't, and I guess that's one thing I wanted to emphasize when I had written it up for Dan was, you know, we have parent volunteers, coaches. We are not going to be security guards. We will do our best. We will put up signage because I know, you know, the school parking lot is kind of the border, but, you know, I just want you to understand we're not the police. So we'll do our best, but if someone walks out there, we're not going to get into a big deal with them to, you know, because they have beer out there. We'll put up I had put on the second version of that map, we'll put up signage that no alcohol is allowed beyond this point. But, you know, I just want to make it, you know, so if someone walks out there, I don't want to be responsible, or we don't want the organization to be responsible. If there's any issues, one nice thing is the police station is right across the way.
Well, that's where I was going.
Yeah.
When PD moved here, one of the things that they said was how happy they would be to be neighbors to everything that's here.
Yeah.
Has there been any consideration given to hiring an off-duty police officer to kind of provide
I
security?
have not, we haven't entertained that, but it would definitely be something we could look at if that was necessary.
I will add that the other departments will do a review as well. So actually, the police department itself, when they get into the alcohol licensing, they see that, they see it, they're aware of it, they're asked at
Okay.
public policy and general government. So
Okay.
they'll get some of that direction later if
Okay,
they're
great.
required.
Great, thank you.
And honestly, I don't mean to interrupt. We're just kind of seeing what we need to do. We're not set by any means on for sure. We want to make sure that we can do this and do it right, and staff it accordingly and things like that. So, you know, we're just kind of going through step one here, so. And I appreciate your comments, by the way, about what we do, because honestly, there's sometimes a lot of frustration in our organization that the service we're doing for this city is kind of goes unrecognized a little bit. So I appreciate that, thank you.
Alder Keemer, did you have a
Yeah,
comment?
I just had a question probably for the director. Do you remember with the Spud Bowl event, did PD recommend an auxiliary officer or not?
They did not require for that, but they were, a lot of times when there's these large events, they're passing through them already.
Sure.
So it was part of that kind of patrolling.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of providing approval to the Point Fast Pitch to serve alcoholic beverages within Gerke for this particular tournament, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Good luck-
folks.
Good luck with your tournament. Item number 5, to award the synthetic turf replacement project for Community Stadium in Gerke Park to Sprint Turf LLC in the amount not to exceed $739,546.18.
So we are at that point. We
18
did
cents.
we did go out for bid for the field, and we're happy to report that we received 2 bids that were very competitive. They were within $10,000 of each other. So you can see from the bid recommendation that we were really spot on. We actually had budgeted a little bit more than that. Rutler's recommendation letter is to carry a contingency. That's why the number is larger in the recommendation than what the actual bid is itself. We hope to not have to use that. We have done some investigation by peeling up some of the old rug, I'll call it, looking at the nailer board and some of the stone under the existing field. Right now, from our preliminary investigations, it looks really good. I'm happy to report that the fundraising is at $3.9 million right now, so we're rocking and rolling pretty well with that. We do have some more meetings coming that we hope to make that number even more. So happy to make a recommendation tonight. I think it's a huge step forward for the community to see the 3 schools as well as the city moving forward to put all the logos on and have the field turf replaced. So staff recommendation is to award to Sprint Turf, highly reputable company. They do a lot of these projects, and the amount would be $739,546.18.
I love that 18 cents. We need $700,000 to put 18 cents.
Never know, you might need it. Good luck.
I'll
John?
make a motion to approve the,
Okay, motion and a second from Mike.
I'd second.
Okay, any further discussion or questions for our director?
is this expected this fall, I'm assuming, or summer?
The field will be done by August 1st.
Wow, great. Okay, well, let's, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 6, division reports. Director.
Yeah, so I get to turn it over actually during this one, so we'll just go in order, I guess. If Scott, you want to take the floor first?
Hello, everybody.
Nice
Well, it has been a very busy last couple of weeks. The snow has finally melted, and now we're outside and trying to play catch-up. So I'll give you an update on what's been happening. We now have all water to all of our buildings, our restrooms and lodges. They're all up and running. Last weekend, May 1st weekend was our first weekend of lodge rentals, and on Sunday, all of the lodges were rented. So, so far, we've been able to accommodate everybody, and so far, no damage from the winter that we know of. So we're ready to start that season. Xenoff Softball League started this week, and there's a lot of baseball and softball going on at this time. Stevens Point Youth Baseball has their opening weekend this weekend, so out at Xenoff, everybody will be playing there, and then they're scheduled to start their league games next week. So we've had a couple of high school baseball games at Buchholz, a lot of rain delays or rescheduling because of the cold and rain. Some of you may have been down to Buchholz and noticed that there are new docks down there at the boat landing. We've had a great contribution and effort from Prime Water Anglers that helped us build them, install them, and tweak them. So Jan Nelson and Jeff Radio and the crew have really been active down there, along with our staff members, to really make some nice improvements down there. The old docks that were there were difficult, not very sturdy. These are very strong, very sturdy. It's going to be a great addition. We're also replacing one of the docks at the Wells Marina. One that was farthest to the downstream end was just in a rough shape, not safe. So we are starting that this week. Hope to have it done late this week or early next. I've also been working with Bill Kepke, who is installing fishing line recycling bins down in Buchholz. There are two areas. We decided on locations, one close to the boat landing, the other farther on the fishing pier. They're white tubes to hold the fishing line. The goal there is he will collect the fishing line, send it to a manufacturer. I think St. Croix Manufacturing does that, and they make different types of apparel. So it's better to see it there than in somebody's prop. We ended up this spring taking down the Iverson press box. It's the old press box that was behind the backstop. It wasn't used all that much. Really basically was not safe. A lot of rotting wood. Would have been a major overhaul to revamp that. So we were working with Stevens Point Youth Baseball to see what kind of needs there was. They used a concession stand for the storage, and it really wasn't needed, so it's now going to be grass, and it's a much better improvement there too. Our seasonal staff has started the last couple of weeks. We've got about 6 people now. Most of our seasonal people are students, so when school gets out, we're hoping to get them on board as soon as possible. And we're just looking forward to cutting grass, maybe next week, we'll see, and cleaning up the parks. And or not cutting.
Is the new restroom open down in Iverson Park?
Not quite. As you know, we've had a really cold spring, and that's delayed a lot of the progress on there. But I believe we're still scheduled to open Memorial Day weekend.
Looks really nice, though.
It'll be much better.
Have we pressure tested yet or not yet?
No. One of the factors for that is to have the grinder pumps installed so that any water that does go down the drain gets taken care of. And we have grinder pumps scheduled for May 23rd arrival.
Okay. Will you provide portable bathrooms or anything?
Yeah, there's 2 down there.
Okay.
And we did open up the restroom across the beach. It's not as well known and visible, but that's a restroom that we typically open up when there's a lot of beach activity. But we noticed a lot of young patrons, buses coming in, not really wanted to use the porta pots, so we have another option there too.
Okay, I think,
All right.
thanks, Scott. And the next. Ann Heil actually just finished her 6-month period in her new role, so she's going into the second half of her first year as the Programs and Facilities Supervisor. So welcome in.
Yay, it's official. Okay, lots to share. I got a little wordy. Hopefully I can read fast. So as you might recall, the beginning of the 21-22 ice rink season was a bit challenging. We had a few setbacks with mechanical issues with our Zamboni, and the ice was delayed a couple weeks going in. We also lost our former facility supervisor. But despite all that, this season turned out to be very successful, first led by Dan and my coworker Greg. And then once I got into the role, Greg and I took it from there. The winter session, fall is typically lighter than the winter, just with, it still being nice out. People don't really have the skating mindset, but it is my goal to increase that number for fall. We added some new classes as well as more sessions of our most desired classes, the beginner classes. And so great turnout from the community for those. And the UWSP men and SPASH boys hockey teams both had great seasons. We saw large crowds at the arena, which made for great concession sales. We've also made some improvements in that business, if you will, by keeping closer tabs on our profit margins, product loss, and installing some new digital menus to make it a little more user-friendly. This year's ice show was a joyous occasion with the figure skating community. We had 91 skaters in the performance of 3 shows over the weekend of April 9th and 10th. So the arena, if you've never been, gets transformed with specialty lighting and decorations, and it's just a great thing to go do if you've never been. Bring the kids and grandkids. You won't be disappointed. Other notable events, we had lots of school groups come through. We have our college hockey league, our Grandmasters League. We rent ice to traveling teams that come up from Madison or Milwaukee, where often ice is so booked that they come up here just to get a practice in. Our figure skating club and their high school testing and competition event is also event that draws from the region. They have judges flown in from Arizona this past year, and so that's a great opportunity to show off our arena for that event, as well as dozens and dozens of skating parties and our public skating sessions that run 4 times a week. So busy place. It'll get even busier this fall with all the exciting things underway. And ice goes in end of August already, so it's just around the corner. Spring and summer, our track season's underway with daily practices. We have 6 track meets at Gerke. The elementary school will also have their big elementary school track meet later this month. A lot of use on the turf this spring because of the wet weather, so we saw lacrosse and soccer, rugby, football, all out there vying for practice times on the turf. So definitely a popular spot this spring. And this summer we'll see the new turf go in, so that's exciting. So the field will be closed for that time, and we'll post that to let the community know that they'll have to go elsewhere to play for a bit. And then other exciting news is we have the Mid-State Sisters of Skate planning to use the Willet for their portion of their summer practice, and then we'll host 2 bouts, one in July and one in August. So excited about that new partnership as well. Pretty soon, in a few weeks here, we're going to be opening the pool. We have our staff hired. Preparations are underway with yearly repairs and cleanup. We have several returning employees, and I have to give credit to Greg, who has really created a good work culture around the pool. So we have a lot of returning staff, college students who've come up through the ranks, as well as their siblings now working for us. So that's really cool to see. We have a total of 27 staff members at the pool, so no small operation there. Opening day tentatively scheduled for June 4th, although with bad weather or unforeseen maintenance issues that could delay us. So stay tuned for that. Let's see.
Do you have booked weekends like in the past where we had community businesses sponsor a weekend? Are we doing that again?
That is exactly next on my list here. Good timing. Yeah, I am currently soliciting sponsors for our community free swim sessions. Got a little bit late start on asks for that, but we do have a couple already, and so hopefully more will follow suit soon. But those are traditionally Saturday and Sundays from 10 to noon. and that's a 2-hour free swim where anybody can have free admission to the pool. We had a fun and unexpected donation of over 500 pool noodles from Operation Bootstrap, who wanted them out of their warehouse as soon as possible. So we were happy to help them out, which we're going to be putting on a couple tube and toy nights where we'll give those noodles away to community members. So we can get those out. Right now they're in the Willet, so yeah. And so the pool will wrap up August 14th, and that will be then the start of our replaster project right after shutdown. And those will be, the 3 wells will all be done by Badger Swim Pools. So that is my life.
Any trouble getting lifeguards? I know last year we were, because of COVID and everything, was
Yeah.
a mess. Are you okay this year with numbers?
We are okay. Yeah, we got out early. We had postings in January already, and we reached out to the YMCA and the high schools, and really just kind of saw what everybody was doing and made a plan to hire our returners as best we could. So we reached out to them individually and asked what their younger sisters and brothers were doing for the summer. But it filled up nicely, and we were hired up by mid-March, so we feel really lucky in that.
And no restrictions, I take it? We're all our past year, we're all clear
Yep.
of everything.
Clear to go. Yep.
Okay, thanks, Ann.
You bet.
And Todd. I asked Todd to bring a tree so we could plant one tonight, but he said.
I bought a prop.
Oh, you did?
Does he have a prop?
Oh, cool.
I'm actually kidding. I didn't know that was in the quarter. So.
We'll get to that in a second, Bob. All right, so we're planting trees. That's basically what we're doing right now. We have about 250 trees that we're putting in this spring. There's about 36 different variety or species, so we're pretty excited about that. There's 13 of them going along Patch Street along St. Paul's Cemetery, so that's kind of a partnership with the Catholic Cemetery Association. We put more trees down Minnesota Avenue past the Village Apartments, so that should be a nice addition. That's coming. I think there's probably about 20 of them over there. That's a spot that you had brought up, Alder Shore. And we're also putting about 26 trees out in the Johns Drive area. That's kind of an underserved area, so that'll be a pretty big planting we're doing with Mid-State Technical College and SPASH. It'll be in conjunction with that. So that'll be May 11th to 12th or 12th?
11th.
Yeah, 11th to 12th. So we'll be doing that with them on those 2 days. And we're also going to be doing an Arbor Day planting. Arbor Day typically, as we all know, is the last Friday in April, but the weather always stinks. So it just seems like if you put it one more week ahead, the weather is usually good. So we have May 5th, if anybody wants to show up, they're welcome. It's going to be a 2nd grade class from Washington Elementary, and it'll be on St. Paul Street and Regent is where we're going to be planting. The trees we got came from down around Milwaukee, so they're a little farther along. We're putting some butterfly magnolia and some merle magnolias in. So the blossoms are just about ready to pop already. So the timing should be just about perfect with that.
Time?
9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. So we'll be doing that. So that should be a good planting.
Is it tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow. Yep. That's what we're doing. Yeah.
Where is that?
On St. Paul and Regent Street.
Tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, St. Paul.
That'll be our official Arbor Day, and like I said, then the bigger planting actually be the 11th. I think it is. It's a Wednesday. And Wisconsin Public Service gave $1,500 for the planting on Johns Drive, so that was nice. The other thing we got going on, what kind of tree is it?
Magnolia Copus.
There you go, yep. So, we're having some kind of problems with it. We got 50 of those in the Parker building right now. I think they're kind of, the leaves are kind of turning black. I don't think we have the watering perfect yet, so, but that's about what they look like. So they're doing really well over there. So we're hoping once all our trees in the bullpen get moved out, we'll bring those out, and then in about 25 years, I think that's when they really start to blossom, so you gotta kind of wait a few years.
Yeah. But at least based on the one I have, it's a wonderful tree. It's far, far better than any magnolia you would expect to be able to grow in
Yeah.
Stevens
But
Park.
we're gonna find out in 25 years.
For those of you that are still here.
Yeah, so then let's see what else we got going on. Schulfers has a contract for taking care of the landscaping downtown. They did that about 2 weeks ago. So they did the spring cleanup and the mulching down there. As part of the grant that we received from the DNR, that'll help with some of the planting that we're doing throughout town and in the parks. Most of that money is gonna kind of go into Bucol Park. Later on this summer, we're gonna be putting about 20 different pines and evergreens in Bucol Park to kind of replace the white pines that we've lost there. We're not gonna replant white pines, we're probably gonna go red pine and some tamaracks and some firs and stuff like that, so we're gonna try that. The other part of the grant that we have is we're updating the forestry ordinance. So Logan, Dan, and myself looked over the ordinance, and hopefully next month or July, Logan will get me back the revisions. We'll have you guys take a look at it, and then, I don't know, I guess it goes to council then or whatever from there. So there wasn't any real big changes with that at all. Also part of the grant, we're developing a tree ID walk. We're gonna do that in Iverson Park. I think I mentioned that before. There's a couple that I'm not completely positive on, so I think I know somebody that might be able to help me with that. Take that. I don't want to make a mistake, but Austin from the engineering department has been very helpful with that. And that'll be on our main city webpage, where we have like our tree inventory, and then we also have the memorial tree walk. This will be another little separate map just down in Iverson Park, where because we always get calls mainly in the fall with the kids. You know, where's a ginkgo, where's, a maple tree, and this way they can go down with their phone and take a look and say, find the tree that way. So I think that'll be kind of neat. The other thing we had going on is we're kind of talking about logging some areas, thinning logging, like in the Yelga disc golf area, and then the city actually owns a lot of land on the west side, and there's some pine stands there where there's some pine decline and stuff over there, where a thinning, I think, would really help it. So we'll have more information on that probably, and I meet with them in June, and then Dan will give you an update on that if you guys want to proceed with that. That wouldn't take place until the winter is the way I would envision that if it would happen, when the disc golf area isn't being used. And we would talk to the disc golf people too, also in regards to that. And outside of that, the guys have just been getting the playground sets. They've been inspecting those and making any repairs, and like Ann had said, we have 6 track meets over at Gerke, and we help set that stuff up. So but right now we're kind of focused on the planting. So
When you plan on that being completed?
our crew is only gonna be putting in about 50 of the trees, and then we have contracted out about another 150, but out of that portion, there's also a lot of reconstruction on the north side, like First Street and Fifth Street. So that money, and that'll be funded through the engineering department, and Zableski will start on that May 9th. So it should be done hopefully by mid-May.
What are you expecting for ash control problems this year?
Well, I'll be marking a lot of ash trees on private property, but
That's where we're going this year.
Yeah, but people, I've been kind of watching a couple in town that I've been seeing where the bark is all falling off from, the woodpeckers hitting them. People have been taking them down on their own. The only ones I'm gonna kind of target myself is if it's along the right-of-way, because it gets real brittle after the emerald ash borer hits it. The wood gets real brittle and it just starts breaking apart. So I'll be kind of targeting private property, the ones that could potentially fall in the city right-of-way. But as far as us, we're done taking down our ash trees for the most part. I found 2 on West River Drive when I was, that were somewhat close to the right-of-way. We'll get those down this winter, but by and large, all the ash trees that we're gonna take down in the parks and then along the city streets, that's all taken care of now.
Are we treating this year again?
Yep.
Okay.
We'll be treating about 250. We do that every 2 years.
And who has the contract this year?
True Green has it this year. They have it for that just came up. They have it for 2 years. So.
Thank you.
Sure. Other questions?
I was gonna say, and Saturday is Migratory Bird Day at Kushkushki Park.
Yeah, okay, well, and Ann Graham got a hold of me, the garlic mustard's showing up, so
Right.
she
It is.
doesn't like that stuff, so we'll be getting that too, okay.
Okay.
At the prairie that we have. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Todd. I'm just going to say a few words real quickly on the division reports. As you guys have seen in all of the agendas, we seem to have a lot happening. And I'll tell you that, honestly, between Ann, Scott, and Todd, that's really who make it happen. While I feel like I juggle things a lot, I can't tell you how much gets delegated out or gets pushed out saying, hey, can you make this happen? And can you get it done by a certain time? So really, they gave up their evening tonight to come give the reports. It's always helpful because they can give kind of a firsthand perspective. So thanks for giving up your nights to you three. And I also will tell you, you probably heard the word culture mentioned a few times. I think Ann mentioned it for the pool, and it came up, I think, on the park side too. It really starts with the park commission. And I want you to know that in terms of from our staff, or our side staff perspective, the support we have at this committee, we really value, and we really appreciate that. It makes it fun to come to, and you can see from the laughs and jokes that we kind of tell when we're here, it really is a top-down thing, and everybody's involved with it. So just for what I can say, as director, we really appreciate the support here at this level. Obviously, you can see it trickle down all the way from the division heads down into their staffs as well, and it's fun. So we're enjoying the ride. I hope it's a long one, but I just wanted to mention that I don't think we talk about it enough, but we definitely want to say that we appreciate it. We appreciate the folks here at the team, and it makes it a lot of fun. So that's what I had to say for division reports.
Oh. I'm not done yet, right?
Not yet.
No, you still have another agenda item. Thank you very much.
But thank you, really. You do such a terrific job and make us all proud of our parks, so thanks a lot. Item number 7, the director's report.
Okay, a couple things. First is a positive note, not on the agenda, but this Saturday is the Farm Shed Food Fair that's at Piffner Park for the first time. So if you have time, I would encourage you all. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. They're expecting up to 3,000 people, which is going to be a tremendous thing. I think it's going to showcase one of our best parks along the river, and bringing that event into the park system really is a win for the department. So every division's been involved in some capacity. We're really hoping to put our A game forward to host that event, and we're hoping it's successful. We can build a long-term relationship there. So if you get an opportunity Saturday, get out of the house, come on down. It should be fun. Going on to other items just related to some more logistics, the KB Willett roof update that we've been talking about. We had a roofing salesperson, so someone that represents a product, come and look at the roof. And essentially what they said is what we're dealing with at the KB Willett roof is that we have a metal sheet. There's obviously insulation and things underneath it. On top of that metal sheet, there's a couple layers. They put down a product that provides insulation, and then they cover that with a membrane that's essentially supposed to keep rain and snow and events out of it. There's fancier terms for it, but that's the simplest version I can tell you. That roof was put on many years ago, and 10 years ago we did a recoating of it is what it's called. So they make a product that can be basically sprayed on in even application, all things being perfect. It's supposed to be perfectly even, and it's supposed to make the water sheet off like it's supposed to. When the water sheets off, you don't have pooling. What we're being told from a roofing salesperson, I'm going to preface that, is that we had maybe not a thin application 10 years ago in 2001, or 2000, I think it was 2011. None of us were here, so I can't tell you for sure. Obviously, I didn't see it. But what happened is if it wasn't thinly applied, it allowed some of the water to pool. In addition, we had the 2019 project where we were up doing drilling and things on the roof for the new air handling unit. We have had issues with children climbing the roof, and we've had graffiti and things up there, so people have been on that roof through the years too. So the long and the short of it is we have some places that membrane did not hold. So that's where some of those moisture things were coming in. We've done some basic patching, but where we're headed here is we have an independent roofing consultant coming soon. We're hoping as early as next week, but at the latest the week after. They're going to do what's called a moisture scan. So they'll evaluate how much moisture is actually going through that membrane and how much damage is underneath, if at all, how much, or if it's something that can just be covered. And then they'll provide the options of, can a recoating happen again? That's what we had budgeted for. $75,000 is what's in our budget. It was a recoating. Things have gone up. So, if it's a recoating, I'm going to say it's probably going to be somewhere closer to $100,000 to $150,000 if it's recoating. That's probably best case scenario. If they come back and say that the moisture scan identifies something else, now you're talking about roofing hardware. So that could be a different layer. So I don't want to scare anybody, but I do want to let you know that we're working on it, and it's probably not a small fix. And when we come with it, we'll try to provide a full detail of our options. We hope to have more than just one option, and we're hoping that maybe a recoating is still possible. What I would love to see for Utopia is if we could recoat it and then budget for a bigger fix, that'd be great. And that's where we hope to land, but we'll see where that comes out as we get further into that. The next project was a non-budgeted project, which was the band shell repairs. So where we're at in that is we did go out for bid, and we had a number of contractors pull plans, and just due to timelines in the spring, only one contractor submitted. You'll recall that we rejected that bid. We have put that back out for bid now. Scott and I have been working with our consultant to get those things ready. We'll open those bids, I believe it's the end of May, and we'll be bringing that hopefully back here in June. And our intention is to try to redo the roof as well as fix the structure, the beam. We've got both specs out now for bid, and we're hoping that we'll get the same interest and more than we did the first time. So hopefully in June, we'll try to make some progress on that. Nothing is preventing any events, so we're still moving forward, but we have to get ready for fall. We can't have that roof in the situation that it's in. The Gerke Park improvements update, I mentioned the fundraising goal, where we're at. We're continuing to have some meetings. Where we're at in the stage of the game right now is we've been looking for architects. So we've got a few proposals that we're evaluating. It's a budgeted expense, so that necessarily won't come here for review, but we'll be getting an architect started very soon. We've got we want to be in the ground trying to do some digging already this summer. That's the goal. So it's a very aggressive timeline based on some of the dollars that are coming in. Really that ties to, in order to bring the Pointer women to the facility, we really need to have a basement at least done to move some of the equipment and teams around. So we're moving fast on that, and I hope to have a more large update next month and the months after. But like I mentioned, the field will be in by the 1st. We hope to have the video board in by the 1st. So there's a lot of moving pieces to that, several meetings. We'll continue to update you as we go. On the comprehensive outdoor recreation plan, that is a major lift for the department. Where we're at in that stage right now is we're doing the compiling of acreage, the compiling of how we're comparing to NRPA standards, how many parks we have, which ones are neighborhood parks. We're reclassifying everything. So there's a lot of data entry happening. Where we'll go from the data stage is going to be into the community feedback element. And that's where the Park Commission will definitely be invited, asked to participate. Following that, I anticipate a small subcommittee where I'll probably make a few phone calls. Anyone that's interested on this committee can definitely be a part of it, or we might review a few things before we bring it to the full committee. That way when we get in front of this board, it's more of a feedback before adoption towards the end of the year. So we do anticipate a survey as well as in-person meetings of some sort in the community. So hopefully we can kind of cast a broad net to anyone that wants to come in person or do it via a survey or online. The grant updates item I wanted to mention is that we've had really 3 grants go in that are we're hopeful for. The first one is the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant that we applied with the Friends of Emerson Park. That did go off for May 1st, so we hope to hear something on that by the time we hit fall. That grant was for just under $400,000. The TAP grant application that went in early January, I will tell you that the DOT has received an influx of funding. So we've been hearing pretty good whispers about that they're looking for more projects. They actually opened the TAP program back up, saying that they take more applications. I'm not going to jinx this, but take that for what it is. We're hopeful that that's good news for us as we get down to the later summer. They also are allowing us to submit an updated budget for that project. They said go ahead and increase the numbers based on the construction schedule. So again, that seemed to be good news. So we're going to go ahead and submit that before June. And then the last one, we just completed a carbon reduction grant. And this, a lot of credit for both the TAP and this carbon reduction grant goes to actually Tori Jennings, has been helping quite a bit. We submitted for 2 electric lawnmowers. So at our trade show in February, we were around a lawnmower that's a rear discharge. I think it's a 72 inch deck, and it's an 8-hour runtime. So there's some really nice abilities if we can explore that. We've not used zero turns for several years, so this will be a little bit of a test trial if we get it, but we did apply for that. It's an 80-20 grant. We're hopeful. The city's applying for some other vehicles and things in other departments, but we did complete one for our department for 2 electric lawnmowers. So that's interesting. We're hoping that we can get that as well. So other than that, we're hitting our busiest time. Lots happening with Riverfront Rendezvous. We are hoping to add what's called Market in the Park to Riverfront Rendezvous. So on Saturday during the day, we're hoping to have basically some vendors selling different things that we've not allowed in historically. So right now we're targeting like that noon to 5 window on Saturday, and we'll have a full schedule hopefully by the time we hit the June meeting. So lots of good stuff going on, and finally the sunshine's here, so I'll stop talking so we can get outside.
Any questions for the director?
I just like to make one comment. Maybe I'm out of line, but I get out in the Green Circle a lot on my mountain bike and inspect it. And I think Green Circle is something everyone in the city is proud of, and it's really a crown jewel for Stevens Point. And there's one little area, it would be Ridge Road east of Green Avenue, through up to about where it goes over I-39, and there are so many potholes in there. I mean, I've been off-road on my mountain bike, and some of the stuff isn't as bad as that. Those holes are deep, and we've also got that Walk Wisconsin coming in June, and you got, a whole bunch of people walking on that. I don't think it's even safe to walk on with those holes in there. It's if somebody's close to
Well, yeah, I don't, Director may know more than I do, but I know that that area is on the summer replacement cycle.
Yeah.
Do you know more about that?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
It is on the schedule. So that whole area was on the schedule. I do know that they were evaluating what was going to make the cut for the summer because of some of the increased costs. But regardless, I can definitely talk to Director Badoon and see if we can do some other temporary repairs until the major.
Yeah,
ones
even
are done.
fill those holes before Walk Wisconsin.
Some monsters.
Yeah.
We'll make some calls and see what we can do.
Okay.
I think the paver ratings are like 0 to 10, if I'm right, and the Pacer, and I think it was rating like a 2 or something, which 0 is the lowest,
Yeah.
so it's pretty bad.
Anyone, if you want to go take a look at it.
I mean, filling holes is easy to do.
Yeah.
But generally, there are a lot of pretty bad roads that are gonna wait longer
I've
probably
seen
than
some
they
other
should.
ones too, but, this is on the green circle, and you do get a lot of usage, even if it's not.
Tip over a lot of these, by computer.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, any more questions for the director? If not, we have a motion to adjourn. All right, John, motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? None. Okay, great. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mike
Liz,
Angry
for
Chris.
your.
A video of this meeting is available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.